Hello, one and all, and welcome to the very first edition of Titletown Throwdown. I am your host, Nick LeBlanc. So glad to join. So glad for you to join me tonight as we kick off the inaugural episode. As we're going to start off the show by talking about your beloved Boston Celtics. So here the Celtics are about to enter Game 2 against the Miami Heat. They went down 1-0 against the Heat on Monday night, Tuesday night. My apologies, Tuesday night to go down to the series 1-0. Now, a lot of issues happened to the Celtics. Celtics had big leads, then the Heat would come back, Celtics get another lead again, and then the Miami Heat will find a way to come back too. So the issue with the Celtics really that I saw in game one was consistency in their shooting. Shooting from behind the arc, shooting from really anywhere around the court. The Celtics have nice ball movement skills, but guys like Kemba Walker, he needs to get going. Walker has not had a great game lately. His last two games, maybe game 5 against the Raptors. Game 6 and 7, he was non-factor. In game 1, he looked like a deer in the headlights out there. Let's be quite honest with that. So, going based off that, and Kemba Walker, and I just want to say this quickly. The difference between Kemba Walker and Kyrie Irving is astonishing because Walker takes responsibility, says that, oh, I'm playing terrible, and admits it and says he needs to be better. Well, Kyrie Irving, on the other hand, from the impression I got of him in his 2 years here, is that blame everyone else, don't blame me. If you're asking me, I'd rather take Kemba Walker over Kyrie Irving any day of the week. So anyway, what do the Celtics need to do to even up the series against the Miami Heat tonight? Well, first off, they need to get better free throw percentage. I think the Celtics' free throw percentage was good throughout the entire playoffs. Don't get me wrong. You got guys like Tatum and Smart and Brown and Kemba can all knock down shots. But you got to hit the ones that really, really need to go. Smart missed a couple the other night. Tatum missed a couple the other night. And it was just bad. But the Celtics need to find a way to get Kemba Walker going. Because once Walker gets going, he just follows the lead of Tatum, Brown, Smart. And good luck stopping that four-headed monster if all four guys are in sync. So Celtics really need to find a way to get Kemba Walker more involved in the offense. And that really comes down to Brad Stevens. Does he move Kemba around the floor a little bit more? Does he team Kemba where he is? Maybe try to double team somebody? Kemba needs to find a way to get open. He needs to find a way to be productive because if Kemba Walker is not on his game, putting more pressure on Marcus Smart and Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown to really lead the Celtics. Now, they've had no problem doing that. Don't get me wrong. They've had no problem doing that. But adding Kemba Walker to that mix makes the Miami Heat's job so much more difficult. So the other night, Tatum went up for a block, and it was a little controversial at the end, too, because it appeared that it was goaltending. It's hard to see in real time, seeing the replays of it. For me, personally, it's still very hard to tell. But we'll see how it goes. Celtics are just about to tip off soon, so I just wanted to get these points out extremely quick. They have Kemba Walker involved on offense. He starts going. The Celtics start moving. But the Celtics really need to stay out of foul trouble. They give up a lot of fouls. They got to start covering some guys, okay? Because they left guys open too many times, and the Celtics need to hit their three-point shots. Very important. The Celtics have struggled mightily from three-point range the other day, especially in crunch time. In overtime, they struggled. Fourth quarter, they struggled. Even bits and pieces of the third quarter, they struggled, but the Celtics dominated the third quarter anyway. It's really the fourth quarter and overtime that the Celtics truly struggled to hit a shot, especially in three-point land. So Celtics need to be more consistent from three, get more timely buckets, and Kemba Walker has to start to look like Kemba Walker. He has to start looking like Kemba Walker. It's important because once Kemba gets going, the rest of the offense will flow as well. Tatum will get 20. Brown can get 20. Smart can get 20. Kemba can get 20. You can get 80 points combined through those guys and maybe another 20 to 25 points off the bench every single night, every single game. No reason why the Celtics can't win this game, can not only win this game too, but wins game 3, 4, and 5. No excuse. I'm not saying that it's going to be, done in 5 games. I don't think that at all. I think this series is going to go to 7, but Celtics have a great opportunity to get back to the NBA Finals for the first time since 2010. When you saw the big three in Garnett, Pierce, Allen, you saw Rajon Rondo there, you saw Kendrick Perkins with you. The Celtics have a great opportunity because the two teams that are standing in the way, the Raptors and the Bucks, well, you eliminated the Raptors, and the Heat took care of the Bucks for you. So, yeah. So your two top dogs, Bucks gone by the Heat, and you took care of the Raptors. Good. The only big dog really left in the NBA are the Los Angeles Lakers. And we saw what the Denver Nuggets have done, come back from 3-1 twice against both the Jazz and the Clippers. So the Nuggets could maybe give the Lakers a run for their money. But I think if you're the Nuggets, though, try not to go down 3-1 again. Although I'll take my chances with the Nuggets down 3-1. But back to the Celtics, though. It's important that you tie the series tonight. Because if you go down 2-0, and Miami has all this momentum that they had built up from when I think they played the Pacers in round 1, and from when they played the Bucks in round 2, they lost in overtime to the Bucks, but they dominated the Bucks in really 3 of those 5 games. The Heat are not easy. They should not be taken lightly at all, and I don't think the Celtics are taking them lightly. Tuesday night's game was fantastic to watch. It was fun. It was energizing. Edge of your seat basketball. That's what I love as a sports fan. Just keep me at the edge of my seat. The drama builds each and every moment. From about maybe, I want to say maybe the 6-minute mark of the fourth quarter. It's when the moment builds up. Unless you're up by 30 and you know the outcome's going to happen. The last 6 minutes are just delaying the inevitable at that point. Do I think we'll get to that point tonight? No. Would it be nice to see the Celtics really bounce back and blow this team out of the water like they're capable of? Absolutely. Gives the Celtics momentum heading into games 3 and 4 and 5. And really makes the Heat go back on their heels a bit and have the Heat take a step back saying, okay, let's not underestimate the Celtics team. Because if you're the Heat, this is your first conference finals appearance in 6 years. Last time you got this far in the playoffs was 2014 when you still had your big three in Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, and LeBron James. The Celtics, this is their 3rd time in the last 4 years. They somehow got there in Brad Stevens' 3rd year, even though they got trampled over by the Cavaliers. The 2nd time they're in the conference finals without both Hayward and Irving. They took the Cavaliers all the way to Game 7, a game in which I still believe the Celtics should have won, by the way, but choked in the last 6 minutes. And now you're here again for the 3rd time in 4 years. 3rd time's a charm. 3rd time is the charm. And the Celtics, they saw the most championships in the NBA with 17. The Lakers are right behind them with 16. Could we be looking at a potential Celtics-Lakers NBA Finals? Potentially, but the Celtics need to find their game. Kemba Walker needs to find his game, and fast, because if Walker continues to struggle, Celtics can continue to find shots late in the 2nd quarter and the 4th quarter, especially into overtime. The C's are going to be in trouble. The Celtics will be in big trouble. So, good luck to the Celtics tonight. That are just about to tip off against the Miami Heat. The game can be seen on ESPN. So, my 3 keys for the Celtics tonight. Get Kemba Walker involved. Play a little bit tighter defensively. Don't allow a lot of open shots. Double team Jimmy Butler as much as possible. And get your timely shots. So, get Kemba Walker involved. Shut down Jimmy Butler and don't allow a lot of open shots. And hit the shots when you need to hit the shots. Because the Heat can turn, because just what the Heat did the other night. They turned a 13-point deficit into a 5-point lead. They turned it into a 5-point lead. So, right then and there. All right, so we're going to take a little break. And when we come back, we're going to recap a little bit of the Pats game from Sunday and their win against the Miami Dolphins.
Newton takes it in for the touchdown. Extending his NFL record with a 59th career rush touchdown.
I tell you, he's so big, you don't realize it till you see him in person. You feel comfortable running him. Watch right here. He's just going to run to the edge, and they're just going to seal down, kick out. And this is simply a power to the quarterback. And you put everyone on the other side of the field.
So the clip you just saw there is Cam Newton's first touchdown as a member of the New England Patriots. Cam Newton, once again, a member of the New England Patriots. It's official. We saw him playing a game. So I still have some takeaway thoughts on the Pats. It was a good, hard-fought win against the Miami Dolphins. So let's be real. The Dolphins always, annually, no matter if it's up here in Foxborough or down there in Miami Gardens, the Patriots and the Dolphins always play really good games. Every year, you always get a game. Now, do I still have a lot of concerns with the Patriots? Yes. Defensively, I'm actually pretty good. The defense actually performed a lot better than I thought. I thought they'd have trouble with the run, which they did for a little while, but they found the groove there in the run game. Defensively, I think we still got to clean up a little bit on the pass interference calls. Gilmore had a couple defensive pass interference calls the other night. So that's that. Other than that, though, the Patriots defense proved to me that the Patriots can win games defensively. So again, I've never been concerned with the Patriots defense. The rush defense really showed a lot. The pass defense, well, it's the pass defense. Okay, just still got Stephon Gilmore. You got the McCourty twins. You got J.C. Jackson. You're pretty good defensively, all right? Let's get to that. You're really good defensively. Offensively, there's still some issues. Yeah, I like that they adjusted the playbook. Cam Newton running the ball. The Patriots actually rushed for more yards than they passed the other day. The Patriots only had 175 passing yards compared to 225 rushing yards. And a good bulk of the rushing yards came from Cam. They came from Newton. So, was I a fan of the new offensive playbook? Yes. I think it's a good mix of both run and pass. I would like to see Newton pass the ball just a little bit more. But the way on how Cam can extend plays is amazing. Now, here's the reason why we're having an issue. Cam Newton still has nobody to throw to but Julian Edelman. N'Keal Harry, he made a nice catch, cost himself and the Patriots a touchdown after he fumbled the ball going out of bounds. So the Patriots could have ended up winning this game 28-11, but instead, they only ended up winning by 10. The final score was 21-11. But either way, it was still a very good game for the Patriots on a defensive standpoint. Offensive standpoint, it was good. I still feel the Patriots can work on a lot of things. Newton, he needs to get into a rhythm more. Those wide receivers, and N'Keal Harry needs to get into a bit of a rhythm more. Julian Edelman can get into a bit of a rhythm more. Edelman only had 5 catches for 57 yards, but that's okay. Edelman only played about 57% of the snaps on Sunday. It's a new playbook for Edelman too. It's a new playbook for everyone. The only playbook that has not changed is the defensive playbook. That is the only thing that has not changed. Everything else, on the other hand, the whole offense is new as it is adjusted around Cam. There's no to run. This is really the first time the Patriots have had a true mobile quarterback. Because guys like Drew Bledsoe, he was a pocket passer. Brady was a pocket passer. Garoppolo was a bit of a pocket passer. Jacoby Brissett, in the 2 games he started, he was trying to run around a lot, just trying to extend plays, which he did a fantastic job of. I'm not getting on Jacoby Brissett at all. But Cam has a little bit more sense of awareness than Brissett did. And that's where Jacoby Brissett, he's now a backup still in Indianapolis to Phillip Rivers. James Garoppolo is starter out of San Francisco, but he's now down in Tampa Bay. And here's Cam Newton with the New England Patriots. So it's still going to take a little bit for Cam to really get adjusted here in New England. Yeah, I think fans are starting to warm up to him a little bit, which is still fantastic. It is still fantastic. And thing that I really like about Newton, and I think a lot of people are really missing this point, he is saying all the right things. We all know Cam's ego. We all know his personality. And don't get me wrong, he's letting his emotions and personality show, and that's perfectly fine, but he's saying all the right things. Now, Cam's not going to dwell on the past, especially at the end of last week's Dolphins game when a couple of Dolphins players ripped the chain off of his neck violently. Yeah, Cam got a little testy, but Newton pre-failed. So if Newton can keep everything in check, and the Patriots offense can improve week by week, I think the Patriots have a really good chance at possibly stealing this division. Me personally, I still feel this is the Buffalo Bills division to lose, and this is the Patriots division to win. Because let's be honest, the Jets aren't going anywhere. The Dolphins will play tough games, but the Dolphins aren't there yet. The Bills are the Bills. The Bills are notorious for always choking at some point. And then there's going to be the Patriots just silently doing their thing like they have done for the past 20 years. And another interesting little nugget too that I think a lot of people really forget. Cam Newton is only the second African-American quarterback to start for the New England Patriots on center. But what's really more important fact, and this is the fun fact, Cam Newton is the first Patriots quarterback since 1993 to start under center who was not drafted by the team. He wasn't drafted by the team. Cam Newton went number 1 overall to the Carolina Panthers in 2011. Magically, 9 years later, here he is with the New England Patriots. Magically. But Cam Newton is the first Patriots quarterback in over 25 years, maybe a little more, to be the starting quarterback for the New England Patriots. And he wasn't even drafted by this team. So that's the real fun fact there. That's the real fun fact. So anyway, final thoughts on the Patriots win from Sunday. Offense looked okay. Still, a lot of adjustments need to be made. I think, again, Cam can throw the ball a little bit more, but his ability to extend plays is going to be really key for the Patriots offense because Tom Brady, and let's be honest, as much as I'm still a Brady fan, the last couple of years, Brady was kind of difficult to watch trying to extend plays. He would try, and then he'd just get walloped in the backfield for a 5, 6, 7 yard loss and take the sack. Cam, on the other hand, Cam can move Cam can extend plays. Cam can get out of a sack. If he takes a sack, he takes one. Not every play is going to be perfect. He's not going to be able to escape everything. But I really do think that the receivers and Newton do need to be on the same page. And that's where Cam's leadership comes into effect, but also Edelman's leadership needs to come into effect as well. Because if Edelman can rally behind Newton, the other guys are going to rally behind Newton. Newton will rally behind them, get them the ball more. This offense has a chance to be very, very dangerous. So we'll see how the Patriots do. All right, we're going to pause again for another station break. But when we come back, it's another rematch of Super Bowl 49, the infamous pass at the 1. This isn't a Super Bowl game. It's a measly Week 2 game. But could it be a make or break game for the Patriots? Find out when we come back and listen to Town Throwdown. And welcome back to Town Throwdown. I am once again your host, Nick LeBlanc. Thank you so much for joining us. It is the inaugural show of Town Throwdown. And so now we come to the point in which we now got to break down to see what the Patriots need to do to be successful to come out with a win in Seattle against old friend Pete Carroll and the Seattle Seahawks. Now, before we get into the preview, rumors are going around right now that the Patriots-Seahawks game could potentially be moved out of Seattle due to the poor air quality because of the California wildfires that are just raving ravage around the Pacific coast right now. So many options being considered. You got about 16 different NFL stadiums that are an option, including Foxborough. Foxborough is still a destination, so the NFL could easily have the Patriots and Seahawks play at Foxborough, be a home game for the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, look, let's take home field advantage out of it, okay? Because Seattle wasn't going to have fans anyway. There's no fans allowed at Gillette Stadium until at least October, at the very least. Hopefully October. So you don't have to worry about crowd noise. You don't have to worry about any of that. You don't got to worry about anything like that. What you got to watch out for, though, is Russell Wilson. Will you be able to stop Russell Wilson? Ugh. Will you be able to stop Russell Wilson? Because Wilson, like Newton, can extend plays. And Wilson's a big guy. He's tough to bring down. Cam's a big guy, too. Cam's 6'5". Wilson, he's not as tall as Newton is, but he's a big guy. He's a very, extremely tough guy to bring down. Especially his favorite weapon, second-year wide receiver, DK Metcalf. DK's tough because DK is just so tall. He can jump up and make a catch easy. So guys like Jackson, the McCourty twins, and Dillmore, whoever's covering them, you're going to have an extremely tough time covering DK Metcalf. And that's what really worries me. The Seahawks are more well-rounded offensively than the Patriots are. So the Patriots defense, they're really going to have to hold Seattle down tight and pray that the offense can make enough big plays to not only keep the Patriots in the game, but maybe possibly steal a win. Because this is the type of game that the Patriots could steal and to really give them a lot of momentum heading into the rest of the season. And really, it'll give them a little bit of a confidence boost heading into the Week 4 game in a couple weeks against the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead, depending whether they're going to have people in the building then. We don't know. What we do know is this. The Patriots will be playing on Sunday Night Football. Surprise, surprise, the Patriots have a primetime game. Me personally, I'm not surprised. But anyway, though, this is really a big test for the Patriots. Can they really shine under the lights? Can Cam Newton prove to a lot of teams, every team that passed on him, including his former employers, the Carolina Panthers, my apologies, brain fart, sorry. Can he prove to the Carolina Panthers that it was a mistake releasing him? Now, during the Panthers' offensive production last week, I don't think the Panthers are too concerned. However, Newton is out on a mission to prove to teams that, A, he can still play. And a win against the Seattle Seahawks, that could really prove that not only that are the Patriots still going to be a very tough team to compete against in the AFC, but Cam Newton, he is not washed up. Now, again, Newton rushed for 2 touchdowns last week against the Dolphins. Cam's probably going to do a little bit more passing this week because the Seahawks saw what he did to Miami last week and just torched them. They're going to be ready for Newton. Again, he's just so big, he's tough to bring down. But so is Russell Wilson. So there's going to be a battle of 2 big quarterbacks who are just tough to bring down. So offensively, I want to give the edge to Seattle. Defensively, I think it's going to be a real toss-up. I think the Patriots defense will perform well. Seattle's defense will perform well. I think we could be in for maybe a defensive grudge match. And this game will be won by either a late touchdown or a field goal. One of the two. And special teams really scares me because we don't know who the kicker is going to be this week. Nick Foles was the kicker last week. It could be the kicker again this week, or it could be Justin Rohrhauser, the fifth round pick that we got in the draft. And Nick Foles missed a field goal last week. So there you go. The Patriots left about 10 points out on the table last week. The Patriots could have won last week 31-11. It really looks like a blowout win. But again, last week, the hairy fumble, the missed field goal by Folk. There you go. There's 10 points that the Patriots had an opportunity to score, and it went by the wayside. Now, the Dolphins, they gave the Patriots multiple opportunities. You miss these kind of opportunities against the Seattle Seahawks, the Seahawks will make you pay. The Hawks will make you pay big time. So, what are my keys to the game this week for the Patriots? Run the ball effectively again, because it worked last week. Keep Cam Newton involved, but throw the ball a little more. Get Edelman some more targets. Get Harry some more targets. Get the tight ends involved. Ryan Izzo, get him involved. Devin Assisi, get him involved a little bit. You got all these moving parts that the Patriots have. Use them. McDaniels has a great opportunity right now. His playbook is so expanded, but it's never a bad thing, though, to go back to what made the Patriots successful, especially in the Super Bowl runs in 49, 51, and the 53. What made them successful? A good mix of run and pass plays, short dip and dunk passes. So get James White involved. Try to get Sony Michel involved in the pass game a little bit, but keep him in the running game. Get James White involved in the running game as well. Do some trickery. Do anything you need to do. The playbook should be wide open for McDaniels this week against the Seattle defense. Because if you're the Patriots, you want to beat Seattle. Don't let Seattle beat you. You need to beat Seattle on the offensive side of the ball. The defense will keep you in the game. Again, I'm not concerned about the Patriots defense. I think the Patriots defense will keep them in the game. But the offense has to capitalize on any opportunity that they get, whether it's a long drive, a field goal attempt, touchdown. The Patriots need to capitalize on everything and everything possible. Because if the Patriots let these kind of opportunities go by the wayside, the Patriots are going to be in big trouble. big trouble. And for someone like me, who's been a Patriots fan since day one, it's really important. This is really an extremely important game for the Patriots. Yes, it's only week 2. You can make that argument saying, "Oh, it's only week 2. They'll have 14 games after this, 15 weeks left in the season. They'll figure it out." Yes, they'll figure it out, but this game could be a deciding factor of whether the Patriots not only win the AFC East, but make the playoffs in general. Now remember, the Bills had to play the Seahawks also. The Jets had to play the Seahawks also. The Dolphins had to play the Seahawks. Everyone in the AFC East has to play the NFC West. I get that. And everyone has to play the Chiefs in the division this year. I get that. Because the Patriots drew both Western divisions this year. They drew the AFC West and the NFC West. Double whammy. Because in the NFC West, you got 4 legit teams that can give you a hard time. Seahawks, 49ers, Cardinals, and the Rams. Compared to the AFC West, where, frankly, the only true threat are the Kansas City Chiefs. Raiders can't get out of their own way. The Broncos are still a young team. And who am I missing? Oh, yeah, the Chargers. They're the Chargers. So that's one thing. So if the Patriots can limit the mistakes defensively with the flags, the turnovers, don't lose the game. Make Seattle beat you, but you also got to beat Seattle. All right? Don't give Seattle extra possessions because Russell Wilson, he'll take that extra possession, turn it into 3 or 6. One of the two. Nothing in between. You're lucky if you get anything in between. Russell Wilson will take advantage of any mistake that the Patriots throw at. So just prepare for that. To promote a show here, wrong thing, my apologies. MMA Complete podcast is at Zach Drapeau every Thursday night. It used to be called WWE podcast. Now it is called MMA Complete. So Zach, congrats on the new title to your new show and for your podcast. All right. Final break coming up. When we come back, it's a little segment I like to call Game Picks, but it's under a different name. Stay tuned. This is Titletown Throwdown. And welcome back to Titletown Throwdown, and this is now a little segment that I like to call Nick's Picks. Yes, we are going to be picking the 16 games of the upcoming NFL season. I used to do this all the time back in college with me and my friends. We do game picks, say who had won, and choose an impact player. So it's exactly what we are going to do here. So get started. Tonight on Thursday Night Football, it is Battle of Ohio. Here is the battle of former number 1 overall picks. Joe Burrow, who's the number 1 overall pick this year, and Baker Mayfield, who's the number 1 overall pick a couple of years ago. That's the matchup that everyone's searching for. Me, it's the matchup to see which Ohio franchise is more pathetic. But anyway, so the Bengals and the Browns, I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns here. I think the Browns just got absolutely trashed last week against the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens were the more physical and ready-to-go team. The Browns struggled offensively and struggled defensively. Now, this is still a very young Bengals team, offensively and defensively, they only gave up 16 points last year, but like the Browns, have an issue trying to score on offense. So expect this to be probably a low-scoring game. Maybe a field goal wins it, but I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns. Browns go to 1-1. Bengals fall to 0-2. All right. The Carolina Panthers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Brady and Gronk. It is their home debut. Depending whether they're not fans, so if anyone's going to see their home debut, Brady looking to bounce back after a rough start to his Bucs career. But I am going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this. Brady gets back on track, and the Carolina Panthers, dating back to last season, have lost 9 consecutive games. So the Buccaneers are looking to have the Panthers extend that streak to 10. All right. The Broncos come east as they take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers look pretty good on Monday Night Football against the New York Giants. Ben Roethlisberger still doesn't look exactly like the old Big Ben. He's never going to be the old Big Ben. However, though, these two teams play each other well. I'm still going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers in this game. Ben Roethlisberger leads his team to yet another victory. Jaguars and the Titans. Titans won 5 of the last 6 games against the Jags. Look, I'm going to be real here. Derrick Henry is just tough to stop. He is big and fast. It's just a very tough guy to bring down. Ryan Tannehill got involved a little bit. The Jaguars defense, they're probably going to struggle to contain Henry. If they can't contain Henry, well, how much you do? I'm going to go to the Tennessee Titans in this one. Los Angeles Rams come east to play the Philadelphia Eagles in what will be an empty Lincoln Financial Field this season. The Eagles have won 6 consecutive games against the Los Angeles Rams. However, given the collapse that the Eagles had last week and the consistency that I saw from the Rams on defense last week, and they snuck out a 3-point win over the Cowboys, I'm going to go the LA Rams here over the Philadelphia Eagles. The 49ers come east to take on the New York Jets. The 49ers, they're in a tough battle. The Arizona Cardinals, who are going to be a tough team this year. But I'm going to go with Jimmy G and the San Francisco 49ers getting their first win of the year, and the Jets fall to 0-2. Bills at the Dolphins. The Bills have won the last 3 games against the Dolphins. Dolphins, they played the Patriots tough last week, but the Bills, they ran all over the Jets last week. Offense looked good. The defense looked pretty consistent as well. So I'm going to give the edge to the Buffalo Bills here. Bills go to 2-0. Dolphins fall to 0-2. The Vikings and the Colts have won their last 5 games against the Minnesota Vikings. That's a streak that dates back way back when, because these teams only meet about once every 4 years or so. Vikings offense, they looked great last week, but their defense struggled mightily as they let up 4 touchdown passes to Aaron Rodgers. The Colts, well, Phillip Rivers. He didn't take Phillip Rivers out of San Diego / LA, but you can't take Phillip Rivers out of Phillip Rivers. Rivers again threw a costly interception. So in this game, I'm going to go Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings, improving to 1-1. Colts fall to 0-2. Lions and the Packers. Matthew Stafford has an impressive 4-1 record against the Green Bay Packers dating back to 2017, which is pretty good given the fact that throughout the entire history of these two teams, the Packers have really owned the Lions, winning 102 times in their 188 meetings. And that's good for a 563 win percentage. But Packers are at Lambeau. Tough place to play. The Packers are there. It's going to be an empty Lambeau. But still, Packers at home. Aaron Rodgers coming off a 4-touchdown performance against the Minnesota Vikings. I'm going to go with the Packers improving to 2-0. Lions falling to 0-2. Falcons and the Cowboys at Dallas. Matt Ryan is 6-14 versus non-divisional opponents since 2018. That bodes well for the Dallas Cowboys, who are looking to rebound after a very tough loss to the LA Rams last week on what I thought was a missed pass interference call. I'm going to go the Cowboys in this one. Cowboys improved to 1-1, and the Falcons fall to 0-2. The Giants take on the Bears at Chicago. The Bears allowed 94. I've allowed 92.4 rush yards per game since 2018. That is the third fewest in the National Football League. The Giants have Saquon Barkley, but however, the Bears' rush defense is very good. The Bears had a great comeback from behind win last week. Mitchell Trubisky led that fourth quarter comeback of all people. A lot of people thought that Nick Foles would win the starting job. He didn't. So I'm going to go with Mitchell Trubisky and the Chicago Bears improving to 2-0. The New York Giants falling to 0-2. We got the Washington football team heading out west to play the Arizona Cardinals. It is again a battle of first-round quarterbacks from last year's draft. Dwayne Haskins against Kyler Murray. Haskins led a beautiful 27-0 run against the Eagles last week to lead Washington to the 27-17 victory. Cardinals, they upset the 49ers last week in San Francisco. This is going to be a tough game, but I'm going to give this one to the Washington football team, improving to 2-0 on the young year. Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals falling to 1-1. All right, another good matchup to watch. The Chiefs and the Chargers. The Chiefs have won 11 of the last 12 games against the Chargers. Now, the Chiefs haven't played in 10 days because they had the opener. They're still fresh off their opening night win against the Houston Texans. Patrick Mahomes looked great. The offense looked great. I expect nothing less from the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chargers, they played well. They escaped Cincinnati with the win against the Bengals, but they're going to have their hands full of the Chiefs. Chiefs go to 2-0. Chargers fall to 1-1. Ravens and the Texans. This is going to be a good one. The Ravens have won 13 consecutive regular season games against the Houston Texans. No, not against the Texans. My apologies. The Ravens have won 13 consecutive games in the regular season, dating back to week 5 of last year. And I think that trend continues. I see the Baltimore Ravens going to Houston, get the win over Deshaun Watson and the Houston Texans. Texans offense will be much more improved. Defense is going to be hard stopping Lamar Jackson. So I'm going to go the Ravens improving to 2-0 and the Houston Texans falling to 0-2. Sunday Night Football, our Patriots heading out to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. Now, again, that game could be relocated due to the poor air quality. That is yet to be seen. Russell Wilson has a 16-3 career record at home in primetime games. Again, as I said earlier, the Patriots offense is going to really struggle mightily against that Seahawks defense. I'm not sure how it's going to be. I got the Seahawks edging the Patriots here. The Seahawks go to 2-0, and the Patriots fall to 1-1 based off the reasons I just gave and based off the last segment. And to wrap up week 2 of the 2020 NFL season, it is the Saints and the Raiders. The Raiders are playing their first official game in Las Vegas in the new Alliance Stadium that is unfortunately going to sit empty tomorrow night. Monday night. My apologies. See, I'm already ready for the weekend. The Saints, they rolled all over the Buccaneers early, picking off Tom Brady twice, one of them going for a pick 6. The Raiders escaped Carolina with a narrow win. This is going to be a high-scoring affair. Derek Carr, Drew Brees going at it, but I say Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints squeak out the 3-point victory against the Las Vegas Raiders to improve to 2-0, and the Raiders will fall to 1-1. Well, that's going to wrap up this week's edition of Titletown Throwdown. Thank you so much all for joining and for all tuned in. I truly appreciate it. And this is the first thing. And this is the first thing. So I hope you all come back next week. And for Titletown Throwdown, I'm your host, Nick LeBlanc. Have a very nice Thursday evening, and go Celtics.